Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York, you're listening to the excellence of radio execution live and worldwide on Montalvo Broadcasting Network. This is Bruce Montalvo. Joining me is my lovely co-host, Jah Jah. What's up, Jah Jah?
What up, y'all?
What's going on? So, let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. On today's program, we're pretty much going to expose the Pope and the whole Masonic, mafioso, Illuminati mob that runs supreme, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't a talk show that sugarcoats who the true masters are at the top of the pyramid. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have the facts, ladies and gentlemen. I've been keeping tabs on this subject, and I know exactly what's going on. Now, basically, for those of you that know, this goes way back to 1972. But if you're familiar with the movie, the series Godfather, the Godfather series, you'll know that in Godfather 3, a crime syndicate was basically given a ceremony inside the Catholic Church. They were given that Knights of Malta, basically the Nazi Iron Cross. So the Catholic Church and organized crime go hand in hand. They go together like lamb and tuna fish, wouldn't you say, Jah Jah? Right. And this goes back to 1972. It's known as the P2 scandal, in which it was revealed that it was the Great Vatican Lodge, basically run by the Vatican Bank, all sorts of world power elite, Italian national security, prime ministers. I mean, some of the most important members of society were part of Masonry in Italy, and they were staging these false flags around that time. You can look that up. It's known as Operation Gladio. I mean, they're involved in some of the nastiest things, but it doesn't get any nastier than the whole child sex ritual abuse that the Catholic Church is coming under fire lately. Why do you think Ratzinger, Pope Benedict, resigned? Okay, it wasn't just because he had a gay boyfriend in the Vatican and they were doing the little gay orgies. Okay? It wasn't just that. I mean, this guy was covering up pedophilia for the clergy since he was a cardinal.
You mentioned false flags, but what's going on today?
Oh, man.
You said this,
oh, man.
On the cover-up, we hear breaking news. They've shot one of the escapee inmates, but really what's going on, Bruce, is that there's been all kinds of false flag terror internationally going on.
Yeah, today is the day of false flags. And what's funny, throwing the Jesuits back in the mix, they actually got together for a mass prayer a day before the Charleston, South Carolina shooting.
Yeah.
So I knew something was going on. I knew they were conjuring some type of evil, demonic, just energy to do whatever it is these fiends do. This game of control. I mean, religion is one of the oldest forms of control, right next to government.
Right, and they're using all of that esoteric, occultic, all those dates, it's right around the time of Beltane, right? So it was just the other day was the solstice, the summer solstice.
That's right.
So it's the longest day, and it's very magical, and a lot of witches use it for their magical purposes.
That's right.
And the Catholic Church is very much in tandem with this, with spells and witchcraft and all kinds of sorcery, even though they tell you can't do it. Meanwhile, they've got the books that they've been hijacking from all the witches throughout centuries and stuff, and they've been using it for their dark purposes.
Everything the Catholic Church does, all their hand signals, from the fish Dagon hat that the Pope wears, it's all sexual symbolism. Even, you mentioned, the solstice. They gathered around at Stonehenge. Saw that. Stonehenge, that's another symbols of sexual symbolism. Everything they do, all the hand signs they represent the papacy. All these Illuminati hand signs. You see the the Illuminati jesters like Gay-Z and all these other people that they throw up just...
Yeah, that makes sense, though, about the Stonehenge being, like, sexual in nature.
Yes.
Because most of the symbology, in the monuments are more phallic in nature, and this is particularly more vaginal.
Right.
So I don't know how many other ones are.
But you're an artist. You can definitely see that.
Oh, you're the one who brought it up, I'm just saying, you said it's sexual, so I'm saying, like, the ring around, the ring, I guess so, pussy, whatever.
Hey, this is a family show. Well, I'm starting to sound like somebody from Texas there. Look, let's get serious. The Pope all of a sudden he thinks that Mexico, okay, is filled with demons. Now, the only demons that arrived in Mexico, the Mayans, the Aztecs, yes, they were savages. But the Spanish, they had to pour gold down these guys' throats because they were so greedy and they murdered so many of these indigenous Indians that are more indigenous to America than the pioneers were when they came over the Atlantic. But no, they should go back to where they came from. Where? North America? Anyway, it's just insanity to me that, this Pope wants to call for a mass exorcism
in Mexico.
This Nazi bastard knows that the Jews fled to Mexico. You see, I'm El Gran Sefardin, okay? I know this. That's why I'm coming out against the Vatican with a vengeance, like I was Mel Gibson in Die Hard. I've been lied to my whole life. My family's been lied to their whole life by these fiends, okay? Mexico definitely needs an exorcism. Okay, all of them run around. They got La Virgen de Guadalupe. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, do some research. Okay, the Virgen de Guadalupe is the Black Madonna. She was passed on so that they can introduce Catholicism, basically Romanism, paganism, to the indigenous people in Mexico, the indigenous Indians. Okay, so they passed off basically Lilith and Isis. She's got so many names. But that's what it is, okay? This group out there, this false flag CIA group out there, ISIS, the Virgen de Guadalupe, you start to get the picture, ladies and gentlemen. They're all connected.
Yeah, they converted towns and towns of people with this illusion. Everyone has a different story about how they saw the Virgin of Guadalupe in this town of Mexico. But specifically was weird. Was the Converso Jews that came from Spain, and they were mad scared of just being Jewish anymore because of the Inquisition.
That's right.
So a lot of them, they moved to certain towns. Specifically, there's about 8 towns, I think, primarily where thousands of Jews from Spain moved to, and, interbred, and they ended up with you, Bruce.
That's right.
And that's what happened. They forgot who they were because of the Catholic Church, because of the indoctrination, and the minute you were Jewish, there are some synagogues in Mexico. It's not true, but they really hid, and they felt like they had to hide their religion.
They completely brainwashed them.
And they brainwashed them. Yeah. So some people were strong enough. They were like, screw this indoctrination. Our faith is stronger, But it's just constant. No matter what portion of history, the Catholic Church wants to eradicate any notion of Judaism, because the fact is that the Judaism is very complex. It's forget what all you truthists think. Okay, it's complex. It's got to do with deep, like, zodiac things and references and metaphors and just a lot of beautiful things that are not taught to Christians, when they're being taught what Judaism is. You're all being taught, like, that Jews want to slap chickens on, and mess through a hole in a sheet, and, whatever other rumors or propaganda some of the truth movement likes to propagate, and it's a beautiful, simple religion in its essence, but in its in the laws, there's way more complex than any legal system on earth.
To tell you the truth, I don't think Mexico needs an exorcism. I think Rome needs an exorcism. Rome has been ruling the world, ladies and gentlemen. It was the Roman Empire.
Right. So
okay, not the Jewish Empire, the Roman Empire. I mean, my descendants had to flee from Spain because of the Inquisition, because they were practicing Judaism. Okay, what about the tons of people that the Vatican is responsible for slaughtering, like the Waldensians and the Albigenses, the whole Protestant Reformation? I mean, that's why the Jesuits exist. They are a military order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that they really wanted to. The reason why they wanted to eradicate Judaism so much, the Catholic Church, and specifically more the Vatican, is because it's a direct threat to its own existence. The Catholic Church says there's a Jesus, a Father, a Son, and a Holy Spirit. There's already three things, and a Pope.
Right.
Okay, so now you got to worship all of these things, right? The Jewish religion says it's one God. That's it. One Creator. You can't see him. Sorry. You got to tune in. You know what I'm saying? Your eyes can't see him, right? But he's everywhere, and then he's nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Catholic Church likes to play little pictures and tell you those stupid stories. I'm sorry. All right? I love all people. I like all religions, all races, all sexes.
I don't.
Doesn't matter. I don't care.
I don't love all religions.
I do. I don't care. At the essence of people can be good. You know what I'm saying? But
that's true.
These, the fact is...
The Catholic Church isn't a religion. They're organized crime. They are the mafia. How do we continue to let these people and their bank rule the world since the Roman Empire? Legatus, the bank, they were instrumental in organizing the Great Depression. And they're still organizing another coming collapse. Who's behind it? The Vatican.
Right. That's what they want to do. They want to control everything. Any place that they see there's a loophole. Like we was watching this Colombian, this Vice thing on Colombia. It's kind of gross. That donkey.
Oh my God.
Kids all having sex with donkeys. It was like the first thing they said in the town, and you think like, oh man, those people don't have any education. They really, really are dumb, with a B at the end of the word. And they are all like, loving the fact that their neighbors and their little kids are, and the wives are, okay with the fact that they're all messing with donkeys, to think that they can stretch their penal cord up longer.
God.
And they're all on camera. But the fact is, at the beginning of the whole thing is like, there's so many little churches around, and they said that, like the priest said it, whatever, that the churches, this started in the churches, there were so many, and that's what you said, Bruce, was that, it was obvious that the Jesuits came and they decided to do a little bit of their brainwashing, whatever it is, and probably...
They're degenerates. They're sex fiends. They're degenerates. Okay? I don't know what's wrong with these guys. They should let them marry ladies with full-grown figures. You sick bastards. You sick bastards! Touching kids! Going all the way back to the 1990s and nothing happened. The Republican Party involved with the Vatican, the whole Franklin scandal. It makes me sick. Why am I the only one that has to tackle the Jesuits? Why can't anybody else speak as emotionally and as honestly as I am?
Why? Because every single one of these major talkstream people are paid provocateurs. All right, I'm not going to list any names because there's no reason for it. All you got to do is look on your local stations or whatever and see who's on TalkStream. See who's getting the most play. Those people who are talking out of both sides of their mouths are the ones that are getting paid by them. They are controlled by the Vatican. They are paid disinfo agents. We're not even paid. We just artists.
We get paid.
So
we make money.
Yeah, well, if you want to support us, we have our Etsy store. We have 2 Etsy stores, and we made a coupon just for you. All right, the coupon is good on both stores. It's called Bruce 40. All right, now you put in when you check out. But let me tell you about these things, these items. We got two stores. One is called Conceptual Subculture. It's one word. You can just type it into Google, or you can go to Etsy.com and type that in, Conceptual Subculture. One will link it to the other one. Other store is called Antique Obsessions. Also, you could do one word. All right, and then you type that in Google and it'll show up. And you could use your code 40 off. One store has more rustic, organite, all healing kind of items. Very, Burning Man, very hippie, like warrior kind of stuff. More metaphysical. The other store is way more like Rococo, Baroque, Art Nouveau, all that repoussé, a lot of sterling, some vintage stuff too, But it's just a real original artist. That's who we are. We don't really care about even trying to get sponsors, not trying to put ads in your face. We don't got any secret backers. Like most of these people that are getting the mics on TV, secret backers and stuff, secret families, secret bloodlines, all them, they're like paid, scripted, and put in those positions. They're man-made.
Absolutely. Working for these pedophile priests, working for the Nazis. I mean, all these people talk NLP, mind control. It's clearly evident to see who they're working for.
Yeah. So, that's why they're putting down Jews so much. They don't even know why. They don't even think that big. But they're told to. Is because they want to say Jews control everything because they want to create such an animosity. They just keep tapping like an open sore. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they were taught when they were young that Jews killed Jesus or something like that.
So the Romans. It was that. There you go. It's the Romans again. I doubt even if Jesus existed, I need some hard evidence, ladies and gentlemen, other than people from ancient aliens telling me that he traveled to Nepal and whatnot. Okay, and if you look at, we were looking at the art from Hieronymus Bosch, one of his followers. I mean, you see, and in many other pictures, you see Jesus with a Knights Templar flag. I mean, that's what they teach these Masons, these third degree. They basically just lie to each other from degree to degree to degree till they get to the very top. They give them this farce, this fairy tale that, Jesus was the British savior. There you go. Okay, a guy with blue eyes is going to go to the indigenous people and say, hey, save me. I'm your savior. I'm here to save you. Yeah, they saved them real well, right? They took all their gold and they cut their heads off.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they turn around and they blame them and they said, it's your fault. And they make up a story.
You're savages.
And they're the ones that do it. And that's the thing. The fact is that Judaism, in its simplicity, there's one God, and there's no challenging of power, of authority on earth. But the Catholic Church likes to propagate the concept that everybody should worship this man in white, And you know what? They are so gay, and I don't care. I like gay people. I love gay people. You know what I'm saying? But I have no issues with gay people.
They're probably jumping up and down, knowing that gay marriage is finally legal.
They're the ones that've been holding it back in the first place.
Absolutely, they're the ones propagating it.
You know how they got it? It's totally legal now. In case you didn't know, for anybody in America to marry same sex, and they based it off of the Civil Rights Act and the 14th Amendment. That's how the Supreme Court ruled it, and it just makes no sense, I mean, people are people, everybody can be. I have a million gay friends, what I'm saying, like on a real. I don't have no issues with their sexuality. They have no sexual issues with my sexuality. Although Lester Molester on NBC seems to have a problem with straight sex marriage these days,
Oh, that's right. And children growing up to be trannies, he wants to have that covered, and he thinks it's riveting. Sick bastard.
Yeah, they're trying to push
Lester Chester, the molester.
Yeah, they're trying to say that couples, straight married couples should sleep in separate bedrooms because it will help their marriage. Help them fantasize.
I do like to stretch sometimes. You know what I mean? You curl up into a little ball.
I don't mind your foot in my face and those things.
Hey, there's nothing a little foot powder won't fix. Anyway. It's the mainstream media is, by design, trying to tear up the family, trying to tear up the family structure, the holy structure that is the family. That to me is the Trinity. You have the mother, the father, and
yeah.
Okay, and they're doing everything they can. They want mommy and daddy sleeping in separate beds, daddy going gay, mommy going lesbo, and little Johnny and little Sally dressing up as either a boy or a girl.
Yeah, I think there's something really distorted that's going on right now. And it's not that, it's just the new population. I see these 14, 15, 13, these shows everywhere saying it's okay, 11-year-olds to have sex and to know their sexuality, and 9-year-olds to know.
They don't even know who they are at that point. I mean, I
don't like this pushing,
what's going on?
Like, I went to art school, and you know what? If a person felt like they was gay, they was gay. So they just did it. They don't care, and then they were straight, and they were bisexual. There's a lot of bisexuals. Those are people that are famous these days. You got to be bisexual, and that, that's how you have to pass.
I mean, they're still growing up. It's like wet concrete.
How do you do this? But right.
Try to just inject this depravity into the youth.
And it's not really even depravity, okay? Because if you are gay, then you're gay. It's just what it is, all right? There's some people, I could swear, they're just totally genetically made up. They are gay, all right? They didn't need any childhood abuse or any media telling them what to be. But I have a problem right now with the media because it really is making it like an interesting thing and a cool thing, and they're painting it a picture like that they should try it and they should experiment with it. And, I think that people should respect themselves a little bit more. Like, if you feel like that's who you are, then that's who you should be. You shouldn't be, like, so weak in the mind that, they say to mess with donkeys this week. Oh, I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? They say to mess with people. It's good to mess with your brother or sister. I'm going to try that. I don't know, whatever, you just got to be convicted in whoever you are. You got to be able to say, oh, I'm gay. Okay, I'm gay. I'm straight. I'm straight. But all this confusion, and like my friends, all these people, these kids just growing up, they're just deciding, that they're straight one day, and 2 weeks later they have a person of the same sex. It's just bizarre.
It's just part of the whole eugenics plan. They don't want male and female procreating. It's actually pretty simple when you see. I mean, it all goes back to the Pope. He's pushing for everything that has to do with the eugenics and the Nazi agenda. I mean, he's right out of Argentina. Doesn't surprise me. But all you other idiots, out there snapping pictures of this fat, ugly bastard, bald, boy-touching bastard. But it's disgusting to me that people just hold this Pope in such high praise. When every word out of his mouth is communism, he basically represents communism. The church, the Catholic Church, is Freemasonry. Don't sugarcoat it. It's Freemasonry. You go to the Grand Lodge of London, and you see their symbols. They have many, but one that's very telling is at the front of the lodge where there's a globe wrapped in a net. That is what this Pope represents. He is throwing his net, and he is capturing all of you, and he's going to extinguish you in the concentration camps, the future concentration camps that they're setting up in America today. Okay, they've started this way back in the early 90s, the late 90s. What was it with Operation Urban Warrior? The Delta Force training in Texas. It's all part of. You could give it a fancy name like Jade Helm, and even that is telling right there.
Right.
Because what is the army? They're going around, surveilling citizens,
what
trying
does that
to
mean,
round
Jade
up
Helm?
citizens. But the logo itself has a shoehorn, like those Dutch. Well, not a shoehorn, a Dutch shoe. One of those big clogs.
Yeah,
what they're
yeah,
called.
yeah.
That's how they would dress up the Jews in the concentration camp,
right,
so they couldn't get away. So what does Jade Helm really mean? Well, they're going to round you up just like the Nazis.
Right, but what is
they're training
what
to do it?
Is Jade
It's basically.
What does Helm mean? I said, what is the meaning of? Why did they choose those words?
They choose these fancy names.
So
for
like
the
Helm,
operation.
I think like Leona Helmsley.
Red Team Go. Red Team Go.
Maybe it's being sponsored by Helmsley Foundation or something.
I don't know. I don't want to speculate. But what I do know is that it's completely and utterly unconstitutional. It's against the Third Amendment of the Constitution, where no soldier during time of war or peace shall stand outside my home. Okay? And, there's nothing wrong with saying that the people should defend themselves from this rogue military if anything happens. I mean, we know that there are many provocateurs, Marines that come out and say, "Oh, hey, I'm a freedom fighter." Yeah, but secretly you're, working for the NSA. There's a lot of provocateurs out there that are working army psyops, ladies and gentlemen. They're in the midst. They're in the population. You're going to the post office. They're going to the post office too. You don't know. I'm not trying to sound paranoid, ladies and gentlemen, but they are surveilling the public. It is army psyops, psychological operations, psych warfare. They are going after the domestic civilian population.
Yeah.
They're surveying them.
They're targeting you.
So they can round you up.
They want to know what you listen to, what you watch, what you respond to. And they'll even, not to sugarcoat it, they'll target you. And you'll say, "Oh, that's weird. I was just talking about that." Or, "That's weird. I was just thinking about that." Or, "That's weird. I was just looking at that." Well, that's because they have their ways of capturing the information that you've looked at or recently,
That's right. Yeah, it reminds me like when you're ordering pizza or before you order pizza, your Apple laptop's on and you say, "Hey, I want to order something from Domino's." 2 or 3 days later, Domino's sucks. But 2 or 3 days later, there's Domino's ads all over your computer.
Yeah,
why? Because they're listening to you. GCHQ, the NSA, the Queen of England, ladies and gentlemen, the Saxe-Coburgs, the Nazis are listening into you. Okay?
Yeah, the Nazis are all still here, still in all of your media and all of your propaganda, most of your talk show hosts. Everybody, everywhere you turn, there's a Lebensborn. Listen to this. This lady, there was that chick from the NAACP. That was the biggest joke for me. I mean, she's trying to say she's black. All right. You know what? I can understand being a rapper myself. Jah Jah in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see color myself, but I'm not a Lebensborn, right? And I don't try to infiltrate. I feel like people like her will take my peace-loving, real visionary, spiritual aspect toward mankind, and she'll take it and distort it, because she, like her mama said, she a blonde hair, blue eye, and they disowned her because she was with a black man. So that means they hated blacks. So that that's a real Nazi Aryan thing, master race, but they want to infiltrate even the head of the black corporations, of the black people that stand up for black people, they're going to infiltrate.
No, they've been infiltrated. They're part of the Boule, the Black Skull and Bones. But that reminds me, I'm talking about
black people and the N-word?
Exactly.
You want to talk about the president?
Oh, well.
Why don't you do him first? Why don't you give a little?
Oh, this is President Obama, and I'm going to sing to you right now. Amazing grace. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Yeah, so what happened with Obama dropping the M-bomb? That was a shocker.
That's funny. No, because he's an N, but use an N, but you can't say he's an N, but he wants to say he's cool enough to say it,
well,
but you can't say the N-word. And wait a second, didn't in Australia...
Thinks it's Charlie Murphy or something?
No, you know what it is? They said in Australia and like in England or something, they were trying to ban those words.
Actually, they are working on banning it in places like London.
Right, in England, right? So they were banning it. So probably he was trying to show that, hey, we can say everything. We still have the First Amendment. But, then you got like all these civil rights activists. Everybody's trying to say you can't say the M-word. You know what I'm saying? Like, you listen to my music. I don't have a problem with it. And when I say it, it ain't coming across racist because I don't really use it that way. I call white people the M-word. All right?
Yeah, but everything's just divide and conquer nowadays. Race, 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 race. That's all they want you to focus on because, like I said before, I said on last week's show, I said H.W. Bush said this would be the easiest country to take over because everybody's already divided. So you keep pumping the issue of race and want to get us against each other, we're going to be at each other's throats. And what really gets me is this. It's just such a fabricated hoax, this Charleston shooting. I mean, they're not showing you any blood. They're not showing you any white chalk outlines of bodies. Nothing. I mean, are you people that stupid? I mean, I remember growing up, my grandmother, I was going on a bus ride with her, and she'd read like the goriest magazines about like narco killers.
In Mexico.
And they'd show the heads being cut off and the blood, and you know what I'm saying? The head being stuffed in the toilet, and they showed it to you. Like in Vietnam, where they show you the carnage on TV. Nowadays, it's like everything's cartoony, and they're dumbing you down. The average adult is being treated like a 5-year-old. Like, oh no, look at this. Here, we'll put on Barney for you to watch. How is it that they were able to have a Bible study in the same room that the Charleston 9 were killed? I mean, that to me is a major violation of the crime scene.
Yeah,
that is an active crime scene. What are they doing? I mean, where's the blood? It should still be dripping from the pews.
Right.
Okay, it should be splattered all over the freaking walls. Okay, the gun the blood splatters. It should be a gory, abominable mess. They're letting people in there. That's the biggest just signal that this is fake.
That's right, and nobody's telling you that. Not one of these. They're so co-opted, all these other talk show hosts right now, that they won't even speculate that it's not real.
Dribbling idiots.
They're told not to. Just like the people that are told not to say that there's that we went to the moon. You know what I'm saying? They can't tell you that we didn't go to the moon. Because of the what's it called? The belt. What's it called?
Van Allen belt, the radiation belt.
Radiation belt.
That's funny because Russia's actually coming out and saying that they want to investigate the U.S. That they're like they're calling all our bluff.
Yeah, calling all bluffs, U.S. But they know it because what's in Russia right now? NASA years ago, Nazi, they joined.
That's right.
They joined with Russia. We don't have Cape Canaveral. We don't have NASA in Florida anymore, okay? That is all in Russia. So they kind of try to scare you.
We're working together with the Russians. It's Dr. Strangelove. We're working with them.
100% in space exploration.
This whole Ukraine thing, oh yeah, we're mad at the Russians, they're mad at us. It's just another little dog and pony show. There are no more enemies.
It's you and America. I that are the enemies. That's right. We're the common enemies. You know what I'm saying? That we got to do damage control. You know what I'm saying? On all these enemies that we have.
Absolutely. And moving on to our next topic, since Jah Jah is a world-renowned art expert, she took me to the art gallery in the Whitney. The opening, it was great. I just felt really honored to be around such a talented individual such as yourself. So it was really nice. I had fun going to the Whitney, and it leads me to our next topic, which is this topic of Hitler's artwork. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Actually, Hitler's artwork is worth it was going up to what was it, like $450,000?
Mm-hmm. That's nothing. I mean, such a famous man. But I'd be more interested to see who collected it, and I'm really interested in the fact that I think we had something to do with making Zafiro famous again. He was sort of getting dusty, like Mao and just dusty, and Lenin just in the cobwebs, and we've kind of. According to populist belief right now in alternative mainstream, Hitler is cliche. Actually, we just think he made such a big comeback. We thought he made such a big comeback, that we were even going to make a pair of earrings. So we were checking, just like a gag pair of earrings. So we were like, all right, let's make Hitler earrings. I was like, nah. You know what? Even though we Jewish don't really matter, we're going to offend mad people, even though we're laughing at it all. So I said, why don't you do a search on Etsy, see if there's Hitler earrings? He says, no. So then what comes up as a surprise, speaking of free speech being abolished, in America, Etsy comes out with the concept that, not the concept, but it's worldwide. It's like now it's domestically enforced that the Confederate flag can't be shown or sold. It can't be sold in any paraphernalia, any artwork, or any pocketbooks or earrings. The Confederate flag is now
what's
offensive.
Going on with that? I mean, I thought you rednecks. I mean, you're gonna bribe my cold iron-shitted beer from my dead hands. Alright, the Boule just bitch slapped you guys and took your Confederate flag right from your hungry man eating asses. What's the matter with you? Okay, where's all the guts and they're just a bunch of retard inbreds, aren't they?
Now, at this point, I think so. I think they really don't care, But, there are two 80-year-old gay guys in Texas that really are very happy with one another. They got married. They said they've been waiting for years. They've been waiting for years to get married. And they were punch drunk, thrilled.
Oh, wow.
And they were going to really celebrate. So, big ups to the 80-year-old lovers that really did see their freedom before today.
Back home in California, they're going wilding in the streets of Castro. Actually, I found out who some of the bidders are for Hitler's artwork. Actually, it was sold to some Chinese people, some Chinese buyers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess they got. They wanted to put someone next to Mao. Mao was getting lonely on their wall.
I believe that. Yeah, on paper, the Chinese bought it, but that was probably just an art buyer. We have like curator or buyer just for people's private collections. And there was probably just a buyer for somebody's private collection that was probably then given to somebody of prominence. That's how I believe. They would never put that out publicly. So that's interesting. So everything is concealed and coded with the art world or even the real world. You know what I'm saying? They put out one thing and they'll let you know one thing that, no reason to question it. But there is always a reason to question it. They're always talking out of, like I said, both sides of their mouths.
Absolutely. And this leads me back to this pedophile, mind control Pope. He's got all you under mind control. Okay, every week he says something stupid and you're all dancing and throwing your underwear at this Pope. Okay, so I got an article here from the Times of Israel. Pope, why didn't Allies bomb railway lines to Auschwitz? Francis laments that world powers did nothing to save Jewish, Christian, gays from Nazi death camps. Oh, they did nothing. Didn't we see a real life movie where a Jesuit, it was actually one good Jesuit, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he actually tried everything, he did everything in his power to alert, Pope Pius, that this was going on. At that time, nobody believed that the Germans were that brutal. And it seems to me that it was the Vatican that did nothing. No. They did something. They were the main ones that were instrumental in killing the Jews.
I think it was their whole they wouldn't have even, you have people like Himmler hating the Jews so much.
Absolutely. From the Inquisition to World War II,
were responsible. But it's all propagated directly straight from the Vatican. Jews have always been a direct threat. Judeo-Christian, yeah. No, the Christians have always hated the Jews. They've always thought of Jewish people as being a direct threat or opposition to their belief system, which is why they want them eradicated and what they want to keep people in.
It's because they've been brainwashed by Freemasonry. Okay? I'm not saying all Judaism is good either. I mean, it has its dark side. I mean, there's good, there's bad. But it seems that the Vatican, they took from the bad. And, like the Ars Goetia, the whole book of demons. I mean, these people walk around, they say, oh, yeah, we're the Catholic Church, we know the Rituale Romanum, you need us, we could exorcise the demons. These people are the demons.
I mean, they put all the people that are priests, all the pastors and all the reverends, they're all, well, not reverends, but they're supposed to absolve themselves from sex, the Jesuits and all these Opus Dei people, yeah. And they all
it's all Illuminati. It's just corporate rebranding.
They all turn out to be, gay, and that's okay. Like I said, we've got no problems with being gay, but, then you're supposed to be, higher to God, or uphold the Catholic ideas. But in Judaism, you could be a rabbi and be married. You're supposed to set by showing an example. And you have kids, and you proliferate life, and you proliferate, love on the planet. Not just gay love, not just like, let's say deviance, because it's not that gay love is wrong at all. If you are free and happy with yourself, but you shouldn't be hiding behind closed doors.
Well,
you shouldn't
America.
have to be.
You should be free to do whatever makes you, the human being, happy, whatever your pursuit of happiness, as long as you're not hurting any children, like the Vatican.
Well, that's why I think that right now, that now that gay people are strengthened, it actually weakens the Catholic Church.
Wow.
Okay? Because it weakens the Vatican's.
I think gay people are becoming stupider, too. I mean, sometimes I feel like saying, hey, it was like the gay people from the 1950s, they're a lot brighter.
I don't know
But then
about
you see
that.
the gay people of today, and they're walking around in like, half naked, nipple tassels, and waving around their rainbow shirt. I literally sometimes feel like telling them, hey, why don't you take your asses back into the closet?
Those are the loony
You're stupefying
But I
America.
can tell you, I know a lot of brilliant gay people. I'm just brilliant.
A lot of gay artists.
Brilliant minds.
Might be a stereotype.
I mean, I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm not trying to challenge everything you say. But like, I know too many.
Do you know where I'm coming from?
Brilliant gay people. So, well, I know what you're saying. It's just like they're cornified.
I mean, look at these news stories on NBC. You have Lester Chester pushing transsexualism onto kiddies.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And he says, "Oh, this is very interesting. This is intriguing," or something. He was like, "Oh, this is the most intriguing."
Yeah, it was like
news story
It was like he
seen
was Siskel and Egbert. He was right there sitting with 2 thumbs up, saying it was riveting.
Yeah, riveting.
Whatever.
Unbelievable. But yeah, we're just run by witches. I mean, which is funny because of a store on Etsy, and I was talking about Etsy before because anybody listening right now couldn't support us, by going to either of our Etsy stores, Conceptual Subculture or Antique Obsessions, one word, squish them together, stick it on Google. Our store's going to come up. You got a 40 off coupon right now, Bruce 40. But what I wanted to mention is that also on the Beltane, the witchcraft, the holiday, the day after, when I was looking up the information about the Confederate flag, I noticed that that just so happens that they stopped an entire, huge business on Etsy, which is the witchcraft business, which is really big on Etsy. That's not our store, but there's a million stores. I mean, hundreds and hundreds. You'll still see it left, but it's illegal now. It's illegal to have any kind of spell or potion or any particular service that promises something that can't be, that's just a promise.
A lot of those people are charlatans.
Yeah, well...
they put a little message in a bottle that tell you that you're going to get good fortune and whatnot. I mean, come on.
Okay, but there's some of these stores that we looked at, they had 20,000 sales in
that's going to hurt.
Okay, these are regardless of whether they're charlatans, witchcraft in general, I mean, it's just, I think if you look at it on just a very fact-based, energy, the elements and energy, and they use crystals or they'll use herbs, and they'll set you make a prayer. It's just like the same thing as a rosary, to some people. So if they're going to go buy patchouli oil and some court case oil, whatever, this and that, and some bloodstones and some, amethyst for this, and they buy it for these particular purposes, and they set their mind and they pray, whatever, and they concentrate, they might be able to attract what they're looking for. But I would never, I don't think that these witchcraft people that own their stores on Etsy are really saying that, yeah, it's 100% accurate, and I feel like it's an infringement on them because Etsy itself, or they could make a public notice that everybody can have a disclaimer that this is at your own expense. I mean, this is, we do not endorse this. This is not, this is not 100% going to work unless you particularly, you take responsibility for this.
They ban witches from Etsy, but I tell you the truth, I'm more concerned from banning Vaticanism, Romanism from the world.
Exactly.
Okay, because let's cover this news story today. Man beheaded, several hurt in terror attack at French factory. Okay, and they're blaming it again on this made-up Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda, just basically, it's all fake, ladies and gentlemen. If you go and look up all the secret societies that are run by the Vatican, you'll find one in particular. It's called the Fruits of Islam. Okay? The Vatican invented Islam. The Vatican wrote the Quran. Okay, that's why they walk around, they put the little yarmulkes on, and they're parading around pretending to be Jews, so you could think that all Jews are baby raping, money hungry, banking vampires from hell.
That's right. And meanwhile, the Vatican runs the monetary systems.
Okay? Absolutely.
How could they not? They're the ones that have all the gold. They even stole it from what I understand, the pyramids. There was a piece of, there was the tippity top. They all had gold at the top, for because it was energy conductors. Yeah. And they took the gold from Egypt.
What about the gold?
They took the gold from the Jews.
What about the gold that they took right out of the Jews' mouth?
Yeah, the teeth.
And the fact, and this Pope really pisses me off when he says, "Oh, I care about the poor." If you care about the poor so much, give back all the wealth that you stole from the Jewish people during World War II. He's not going to do that.
No.
He's not going to do that. But, ladies and gentlemen, all this false flag, Islamophobia you see today, it all comes from the Vatican. Like I've said before, I like this phrase. All roads lead to Rome. Well, folks, all false flag terror pretty much leads to Rome. Like I said earlier, the 1972 P2 Masonic scandal, where they found out that all the top brass, all the heads of state were basically Freemasons working alongside with the Vatican Bank, and they were instrumental in staging false flag terror plots, which today as Op Gladio, and you see it today. It's happening right here. The Freemasons are still doing these things. It's Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, where's the blood? Where's the blood? I'm not saying that it wasn't tragic if it was true, but I don't trust the news. I don't trust anything they tell me, because they're a manufactured construct to keep you in your little Agenda 21 box where Big Brother tells you don't go outside today, don't think this because you're a thought criminal. I mean, that's where we're heading.
That's right. Speaking of thought criminals, I'm just so angry at this particular talk show host, and I know it's a little off subject, but
not really off subject. I know where you're getting at. Yeah,
because does have to do with population control and Agenda 21, and there's duplicity. It's across the board. Artists like Gaga, all these idiots and stuff, they're all just trying to push this concept that golden rice is a good thing. It's not a good thing, okay? We're not libtards. We're not clumping GMOs all together. This is a known fact. Golden rice was scientifically designed in a lab in Switzerland, okay? And it does two things. It's a slow kill. It's a soft kill. It chips away at the populace. It sterilizes the population. Yeah, you could say, it feeds all these people that couldn't have been fed before. But at the end of the day, it's sterilizing them little by little by little. And it's killing them. Okay, so people are under the illusion that, the GMOs are great. They're not great. Okay, a lot of them have pesticides. Forget pesticides. All right, it's other things. They have Roundup.
Oh, well, you see that herbicide? It's causing autism in children. That glyphosate, the herbicide in Roundup. Okay,
right?
It's killing you.
Poison.
So I don't care what idiot that's working for Big Pharma on the radio is telling you, hey, it's good for you. What do you think?
I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but you can take it. It's good. You shouldn't be against it, you libtards.
These crotchety old men that get mad, these neocons that get mad because a kid is skateboarding on the side of the street on a sidewalk,
smoking pot. Oh my
God.
Oh
yeah, because
the biggest crime in the world right now.
Or if you're listening, you neocon. Okay, UCLA did a study where they tested people who were heavy marijuana users. None of them were at risk of getting cancer. None of them. And again, I'm not advocating that you should, the intake of marijuana should be smoked, because anything you smoke is bad for you. But, I mean, if you're a cancer patient, it's a lot better than going through the chemotherapy.
You think jogging in New York City behind a bus is going to be any different than smoking? Well, I mean, if you're going to
Well,
smoke...
jogging's actually very bad for you. You're like destroying your bones as you're running.
Yeah, you see some of these joggers and stuff. They get, the skin just starts falling off them, and their tendons, their bones, and their joints starts getting weak, and they start really looking raggedy, at young ages.
But you made a brilliant point with the GMO rice, and it does go with what we're talking about. This Pope is, if he could, he'd be out there with a big bowl of, a big just plate of golden rice for everybody.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Oh, you don't believe in me? If you don't believe in me, then you should deserve to die. Because they want to kill intelligent. And that's why Jews were always really smart. They always cared about questioning things and asking questions. They don't want people asking questions. That's what the Catholic Church is. The minute you ask a damn question, then that's when you get the devil put in your face. Mm-hmm. Oh, you shouldn't question it. Okay, but in Judaism, everybody asks questions. That's why there's so many lawyers that are Jewish, because they know how to ask a question.
Yeah, but you got these anti-Semites running around saying, oh, well, you guys believe in this outdated law. You still believe it today, right?
And that's not the truth.
I mean, exactly. I mean, it gets revised and revised and revised.
It's really simple. It's just like...
They commiserate with each other.
If you look at copyright law, and I try to use a copyright law, all right, or a criminal law, just use copyright right now, but because I've already ran into this, if I try to use a statute that was written in 1800s and try to apply it contemporary today, it has been, it's not in the courts anymore. No, it's not valid. It's null and void. It has been changed. Right. It has some other lawyers or rabbis came in and already dissolved that. They said, no. And that's just not valid anymore. And the stuff that they quote, some of that stuff is from like 2,000 years ago. So you hear these Jew-hating mongers that are floating around from all these talk show hosts, all these alternative talk show hosts. You see the same heads,
Yeah, they're telling you to go after the messenger.
Yeah.
The Jews are basically just the ones that are in those positions are basically just the lawyers of the heads of the P2 Masonic Lodge and the Vatican and all these people.
Yeah,
they're just doing their income taxes.
Right, and last night Himmler's child was talking about all these... Yeah, he was talking about...
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he was talking about Jews again, said that it should be all gone, all eliminated, and the Rothschilds were Jews, and we should blame the Rothschilds, and the bankers are all Jews and they're evil. Real... guys that have 5-hour shows at night.
She means a paranormal talk show host. We call him Himmler's child. There's a little inside joke between us. But yeah, this guy totally using misinformation, totally saying that the Jews are, the Rothschilds are Jewish.
And the Jews are the ones to blame for everything.
Oh yeah, and you should go after them.
Yeah, and he said, maybe they should all be eliminated again, just like, he said that. That's why his name is Himmler's child.
Well, who do you think he's working for? He's working for the satanic pedophile Pope, him and all his buddies that get all this coveted airtime.
Right. And speaking of airtime, I just wanted to remind everybody that there's 3 hours of Jah Jah on every single night from 12 to 3 p.m. 12 p.m.
That's
12,
right, Jah Jah Radio.
Late, at 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., right? And then they got a new mix every Saturday night, and then we play that all week, right? So this is a new station.
MBN.
And you're listening to us live right now.
That's right. They know.
We're Friday nights live.
That's right.
Being bad Jews.
We got the candles up?
No.
Not yet. But
I went to the Witch's Sabbath for that.
But again, folks, I'm just so sick to my stomach every time I see this Pope giving a thumbs up and, parading around when he is wanted for rape, torture, murder, and trafficking of children. If you don't believe me, go do the research. 5 judges of the International Common Law Court of Justice in Brussels determined that the crimes occurred as recently as 2010. As recently as 2010, including sacrifices, child sacrifices at Roman cathedrals, probably like this Saint Divine, right? They've done these child sacrifices in Montreal, New York, Rome, Scotland. Okay, they charged this Pope Francis, this Pope who was also involved with the missing children in Argentina, the desaparecidos. So this guy, Pope Francis Bergoglio, this guy is a piece of crap of the highest degree. He needs to be behind bars.
Yeah. I mean, all in Brooklyn, why is there so much Pope propaganda in the hood? Okay, nobody wants to see this ugly mofo, okay, with his little beanie and his white ghost outfit, when he should be wearing black and should say Father Death on it. Come near me, you'll get poisoned for life.
It's basically like Star Wars. I mean, the Pope is basically like Darth Sidious, and Obama is the pathetic Darth Vader walking around doing his bidding. But you know what? Obama's not that cool. Obama's not Darth Vader. Darth Vader actually is real cool. But that's what it is. That's the symbology, pretty much. That's the tyrant, the fascists. To me, that's pretty clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, right now they're all in key positions. They all want to control everybody. They're trying. If they think you can't be controlled, then they'll extra target you with what your interests are, and then they'll try to mess with your head.
Well, not only target you, but now they even have. I mean, they're in control of some of the top directed energy weapons. Hey, the Jesuits. I mean, this is scary stuff. That's why they want to have a Jesuit president. I mean, they had Ronald Reagan. I mean, Obama.
Didn't you say you saw something with Obama, and then he's walking with some guy, and then he's wearing a shirt, a baseball, and it said Jesuits right next to it?
Yeah, that was the baseball game between the Republicans and Democrats. A lot of them, they're Jesuit schools, like Georgetown. That's how Bill Clinton got into. That's a Jesuit president, like I was speaking. The Jesuits want to have a president in power because the president has the launch codes. So he could start a thermonuclear war.
Do you, Bill Clinton?
How you doing? You should have voted for my wife, Hillary. She gets more tail than me.
He's only kidding.
No, I'm not. Well, about voting for Hillary.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Bill. That was Bill. Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, you should all listen in on Montalvo Report. We got the whole network. Bruce
it's actually Exposed News Alternative now. .wordpress. We had to change Montalvo Report. People were targeting me like you won't believe. They gave me a war.
Yeah, you gotta listen in on this network because Bruce does his little characters. You know what I'm saying? And he's hysterical. So you gotta catch his.
You know what? I figure with the seriousness of what I cover. I mean, you see how passionate I am about the things I cover. I mean, this is the truth. This is cold, hard fact. This is nothing but the facts, just like Dragnet. So I need to have a little bit of humor. Because this stuff is so dark. It's so depraved. It's so scary. Just to know that the world is in love with these child rapists, these child murderers. And they put them in posters all over the place. They dress him in white. They cry when he's driving around in his Pope Mobile. It makes me sick!
And Bruce is funny. He's not no Bill Hicks. But Bill Hicks is not that funny.
Better than Bill Hicks. And ladies and gentlemen, actually, we're out of time. We're out of time. I want to thank you for tuning in to us. This has been the Bruce Montalvo Show with my co-host, Jah Jah. We're on every Friday, broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York.
Check me on YouTube.
The excellence.
Download on iTunes.
Of radio execution.
That's right, from Brooklyn.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't hear from us, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye.